Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here doing my live reaction for Supernatural Season 15, Episode 11 of The Gamblers. I know that this is actually the last episode before the big pause until March, where we're switching to Mondays, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited to get into this one and see how it kind of, ends off, especially considering it's basically like another mid-season finale, because I'm pretty sure when they did it before, it's about the same, so the time frame was about a month or so. So it'll be interesting to see how this one ends and if they decide to do kind of a big cliffhanger or anything like that going into it. But all in all, I'm excited. So let's see what the heck happens. I cannot believe that they're genuinely driving to Alaska. Like, that is so ridiculous. It's mind boggling.
Silent mode's always an option. This is Agent Rizzo. Well, I guess the feds are fed, right?
I was not expecting them to do
Listen, we got a homicide down
Agent
here,
Lizzo.
and I got something under the cooler. Oh yeah, no, I polished off the last of the sandwiches while you were out. We're on a budget.
Interesting. So, I, I don't really know what to think of that. That's really interesting. He needs human hearts for. I mean, we don't necessarily know that the guy was human, and maybe, maybe Jack's sort of like very specific Nephilim. I don't know, existence or something that keeps him hidden or something like that. People can't really figure it out right off the top. But that's really interesting. Seems like just a normal human guy, and he just killed him and ate his heart. But there's got to be some specific reason to that. It's possible that he has deals, and so, Billy's kind of sending him out as like, all right, these are the deals that I have. Their time is up, so go ahead and eat their heart. And that's kind of like they were gonna die anyway. Kind of like you give your body to science. It's just a much more painful way to do it. So that's where the big question comes in, because I would assume if that were the case, Billy wouldn't be like, hey, go out there, kill this dude where you can possibly get busted for it in a doctor's office. She would just be like, hey, here to collect. Boom, you're dead. And then, she gets, Jack, gives Jack the body. So, not sure what to really expect from this one. I hope, with the way they're kind of doing it, where that does seem to be half the episode, which I'm very happy with. I mentioned in the last one, I was like, I really hope half the episode has something to do with Jack, and kind of fits. We had the mid-season premiere where it's like, all right, it's time to get some stuff done, and that was a couple episodes ago, and now we're going into like our second, big break for the season, and finally Jack is officially in there. So I'm happy with this episode already. Still can't believe they're actually driving to Alaska. That's just crazy.
No way. I've been slinging pool cues since before you were born. When you were 4,
I love that this is like I love that this is the new big thing. Where it's like, man, we've done pools so much. I don't think I ever seen them do anything with the pool table. 15 years, I'm sure they've done it, but it's really funny that it's like, man, we used to do it all the time. Not in the flashbacks I've seen, which is really funny, but it's an easy retcon. It's just like his buddy who was like, he always hung out, but it was, I honestly thought he was going to walk right through that. He hung out with him all the time, but it was like right before the series premiere. It's like, we hung out all the time just before, I got, in touch with my brother again. Things happen, but that totally fits. That one, of anything, that's an easy retcon. It's like, yeah, I could see that. They haven't done it in a very long time, though. But also, I'm sure they'll be fine. And even if they lose, that would just make the episode more entertaining, because it's like, well, where the heck do you go next? So, looking forward to that. Oh, man. I have waited so long. This is the best. This might be the best episode. New best episode. Because I was like, they cannot do this series and not have that freaking angel sword thing. Because I was like, I have to see the end. Which means Claire really should be in this episode. And I'm going to be really upset if she's not. Or if it doesn't finish, she has to show up in like the next couple. Because I've wanted that. That was like one of the two things. And the whole thing, I was like, I just need this angel thing. I wanted that to be the whole first season of Wayward Sister, because I was like, I think they specifically said there were like 13. I was like, that was a perfect number of episodes. You could even put a few in since it's season 1.
I don't know, Sammy. I'm a little rusty.
See, right here is where the episode should pretty much end, and I imagine that's not about to be the case. Either he's about to save this dude because he can and give him some of his luck, or something really weird's about to happen. So now my main thing is wondering, where is this episode about to go now that they've done this? Because they should leave, and they might, because I don't really remember everything from the promo, but I just don't think they're about to. I feel like something really weird's about to happen with their storyline, and it's just going to be this really weird thing. I mean, they could magically drive back from Alaska, I guess, in like, you know, a quarter of an episode, sure. But I don't know. Something weird's about to happen because they need more luck. They need a bunch of luck too, so they have to keep playing anyway, I guess. But this is a weird one. I don't. I feel like this is gonna be one of those episodes where it's like, cool, the heroes won, but they have to like basically kill people off in order for themselves to survive, and they kind of have to because they're going up against God, and they have to find a way to stop them, and kind of just end the series in a good way. So, this could be a really intriguing episode depending on what they end up having to do.
I'm sorry, baby. I can always make more sons.
Damn, that's messed up. But that reminds me of this woman from like this old ancient woman. That's an actual story where she said the same thing. It was like,
Then we go again.
you know,
When I play someone,
you can kill my son because I can just make more kids.
you
I was like, dang, mom.
are just a beach reed.
Feeding on the souls of humans he was supposed to heal.
I figured something was going on because I'm like, the dude couldn't have been like just innocent.
Children.
Mostly because of Jack. It was like, I know Jack, and it's like, there's no way that guy was just a normal doctor. It just didn't make sense. He might genuinely be weak. He's like resurrected, but I don't think he actually has his powers. So, this is really weird. It's definitely interesting to see how it's playing out with him going through and needing to get the hearts and stuff and knowing that they're bad because of death, which would be very interesting if that wasn't true, if the guy was like kind of stunned that he heard that. But I assume he was stunned because like, holy crap, this kid knows my secret. Like he knows like my brother was kind of, he oddly enough, he was kind of skimming souls like this woman's skimming luck. So he's like absorbing bits and pieces of people's souls, and he eats the soul of kids. I don't know, maybe something worse. So that's interesting. He's going around. They're all just evil. They're not only in hiding. They not only have their own angel radio frequency, which is pretty cool, but they're like bad. I'm sure not all of them are just like the same villains, but so far they haven't had a good track record. We've seen like 3 in person, and it's just like, oh, this guy's seemingly a doctor sucking up souls. The original one, I can't remember exactly why he was a villain, but he was trying to kill them. So I was like, you're a bad guy. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. There were, like I said, I think they mentioned there were like 13 of them. So hopefully they do keep this going. And Claire has to show up. That was supposed to be her whole storyline. So hopefully, maybe in the next episode, maybe it might even be in the promo, that'll kind of be what they focus on. That'll be how they get the power up. That'll, maybe the next couple of episodes could be dedicated to that, since we won't get like the full series, and that can't be like the first season of Wayward Sisters. Maybe that's what we'll get. We'll get to have like 3 or 4 episodes, and it'll be the Grigori arc, like a mini arc within the final season. I would love that. That was always like the one storyline where I was like, man, out of every like little random storyline that they introduced, like, oh, this will be an episode later, that was always the one that I wanted to see come back, because I just love that idea. I thought it was such a cool concept. I'm a big fan of swords too. I'm like a nerd about that. Hence the Invisiblekatana name. But I always thought that was such a cool idea. I was like, I would love to see them mess around with that idea. Like, what does that mean for the universe? What are they doing, in hiding and stuff like that? And they're more powerful than, most other angels. So, all right, if I remember right, that was kind of the thing. They were technically like stronger. So I would love to see that. and they all have swords. Once again, very cool. But we'll see what happens. I think I'm at like the 40-minute mark. Yeah. So I know that they aren't gonna get all of them in this episode. So that means we do have time to see Claire come in. So that should be awesome. That should be pretty sweet. So we'll see. You know what's funny? I never thought of this before, but you can't have an episode like this where it's like a really intense thing, like, oh, who's got the epic skill to win? You can't do that with bowling, because those are like the only two sports that I really like, is like pool and bowling and swimming, and you can't do that with the other, like the few sports that I actually like. You can't have that. You can't really do that with anything. You can only do it with pool, even if it's like a normal sport, unless it's like a movie about basketball or something. It's not going to be like the dramatic thing where it's like, oh man, is he gonna make the 3-point? It's just really funny.
Yeah, that's him. To take the blame. Bad harvest, stillborn child, our bad, not his.
That totally
Plus, we
fits
need for
Chuck.
epic stories. But his ego could only handle that for so long. Now he's happy to hide behind whatever religion has the best syndication deal. But we survive on scraps in the wilderness.
Well, that's a really cool idea. I also like that they're using red instead of normally it's blue is what you see, the blue chalk. So it's kind of cool that they're using red. Once again, they can't have this cool conversation when everybody's sweating and trying to run down a basketball court. You can't do that. It's not like cool and calculating, and it's like, is he gonna do it? See, imagine they were playing basketball, they'd be sweating. It's not the same impact. It just doesn't work. And then in a bowling, what are you like? You gonna go to a bowling alley? Doesn't work. It's not the same.
What kind?
Heroes. Like the old days.
That's kind of a cool ending. I actually really like this one. Once again, this is the final season. They pull in some twists on the formula because they totally lost. It was like they were dead to rights losers, zero luck. They probably wouldn't have made it to get Wi-Fi. They would have been in a crazy car crash and murdered. But because they tried to be the good guys, they are the good guys. They got their hero's luck back. That's insane. That's really cool. That's just a really cool ending. I like that.
We're back, baby.
That's pretty cool. I actually really like that. That's actually a really cool way to have that solution come up for them, where it's like they went through the normal story. It's like, we have to fight the villain. We have to figure out, what this house is. That was actually kind of a cool mystery. It's like, what is this weird little magic pool house? So I like that idea in general because that was pretty interesting. Something they don't really do very often. It made me think of like Mystery Spot. Like, they don't do a lot of like, what is this very specific place? It's always, this place is haunted, so it's always a spirit. It's rarely like the actual location is a magical thing because of something. It'll always be because of something, but still, I thought that was really cool. And then of course they completely lose. They do the double or nothing and everything, and it's like, you don't get the hero's end. You just lost. Like, and they were they were fighting for the people and everything. And I really like that. I thought that was a really unique way to kind of put a nice little spin on it. And it's like, nope, you lost, but at the same time you won. They did better than, well, I mean, I guess technically, yeah, they did better having lost than they did, if they actually won, because she would have just given them, more luck, but everyone else would have been screwed. So in the end, this is like the best ending they could have. It was like everyone is still freed, and they get all their luck. Because if they did the double or nothing, he even said, like, not for more luck, just for them. So they got more than they even wanted to, had they actually won. So that's really cool. That's hero's journey. So it's full circle. So I like that. That was really cool.
And back-to-back bacon double cheeseburgers didn't kill you, so... That was beautiful, bud. I'm just saying, would have killed her to give us a little extra.
If I use my powers, my grandfather, he'll know I'm back, and he'll try and kill me.
Okay. So that explains why he didn't heal himself. It's not that he doesn't have his power. He's
afraid of me.
He can't use them yet.
I'll be able to kill God.
Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, the way they were talking, it kind of made it seem like he was done with the hearts phase. and that makes it seem like they aren't going to bother with the Grigori anymore, which I don't want because I want more of them. So we shall see, I guess. But definitely the way he was speaking, it was kind of like, oh, I'm done with that part. Phase 2. I'm like, oh, no. No phase 2. More phase Grigori. So we'll see. I feel like they moved past it, which is very unfortunate because I just need it's just a weird thing. I'm weird when it comes to stories that I really like, and that was one of my favorite things that they introduced, and I was so excited for that to continue. I was like, at some point, they're going to do these crazy 13 swords of these angels, and Claire's going to be involved, and it's like her cool storyline, and then we were going to have a spin-off show, and then CW didn't want to pick that up. Man, I'm still mad about that one. I think I'll always be upset about 2 spinoffs. Freaking, they didn't pick up Constantine and they didn't pick up Wayward Sisters. Those are like the 2 things where I was like, why didn't they? Those were so good. That was such a good idea. And Constantine was already a thing. Shame, shame, shame. But I do hope that they continue more with the Grigori stuff, even if it's just one more episode and they just have her in it so that it can just wrap up that story. Like maybe they come in to help God. Maybe it's been like, hey, we've been in hiding for a while. You know, he ate some of our brother's hearts and stuff like that. So maybe that would be a cool way to do it and just have Claire in there. I don't know. I'm coming up with a lot of excuses. I just really want them to have like that storyline just in there officially done where I guess they would just kill them all off. Just do that and then I'm happy. That's all I really want, to be totally honest. And then it's just like, okay. I mean, they've thrown it in, so now that's all I'm going to talk about and be sad because the first half of the season was like, man, really waiting for Jack. And now the second half, all I'm going to be talking about is like, wish they would put that Grigori stuff in. I don't know where Claire is, but clearly we need to take these swords and angels out. So that's what you're going to hear a lot about now. That's what it's going to be for like the rest of the seasons. Like, I hope they do that. But I really enjoyed this episode. I love that ending. I'll check out the promo here because we have to wait a full freaking month. So I might as well have a taste of what's coming up. And I'll talk about whatever they may or may not have in there as well. Alright, Jodie was in there. I'll just leave it at that. I enjoyed this episode. I hope we see more Jodie. I hope we see some of Claire. I don't think she's been in the season at all, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they've referenced her. Well, technically, they only referenced her once. It was the fake future thing. So, yeah, they've only had the one actual reference to her. And then, of course, the Grigori thing. So, it's like they kind of have to have her in there now. So I hope that's the case, like I said. But I really enjoyed this one. It was a nice twist. Jack is officially back. He's with the team. I didn't expect him to actually be back home by the end of the episode because of the way things were going. So I was really happy with that, where they're actually all together at the end. I was like, oh, that's cool, because I thought for sure it would just be he's still separate, and they're kind of looking for him. I wasn't even sure Cass would even, on his own, actually find him in the episode. So I'm happy. I'm really happy about that one. So looking forward to what we have next. This is a really good one. I love the way that they kind of played around with the idea of, them being heroes. They did what they always do, even with their luck running out. They tried their damnedest, and they failed. But in the end, them trying, because that's what heroes do, ultimately led to success. So I like that idea. It was a nice twist on it, where it's like, you lost, get out, and then it's like, all right, they're good. And I love the explanation of how the other gods were created, where it was like, humans kind of created other gods because God was like, well, what the F? Me. And then it's funny because it was like, wow, it makes so much sense to be like, oh, wait a minute. If I use other gods, they'll be the ones who are bad and I'll always be good. It's like God is great. But these guys, like, that God is specifically for that harvest. Like, I don't know what they did. You got to talk to them. That's not on me. I'm God. I'm great. So I love that idea, especially considering we've seen God as he is, as Chuck, and everything he's done. So I love that. I was like, man, I never even thought of it. I just thought, God made the other guys. He just kind of did his thing. Was just like, it's a cool story. Like she even said, like, we had great stories, and then he was kind of tired of it, so it was kind of just like, whatever. But I like that idea. I thought that was really cool. It was like, God existed. He saw what you guys did, where it was like you specifically praised the sun. You didn't think of like one creator. It was like every single thing had its own God. And then it was like, well, because of that, God made us. So like humans are kind of the reason multiple gods exist, but God himself was just always there. I was like, cool idea. I don't know why I just did that, but very cool idea. I think that's a really interesting concept. And oddly enough, something they've never talked about. So I like that. I love that, actually. That's a really cool bit of lore that I just never honestly thought about. So I like that for sure. But all in all, fun episode without a doubt. We'd love to know what you guys thought about it, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. And unfortunately, we have to wait a month, but I would love to know your predictions since we're going on another bit of a hiatus until March. So I would love to know your predictions for where we're headed, based on the promo with Jody showing up. It seems like it's a normal hunting mission. That's kind of what it always is, I guess, as every episode. Excuse me. But I would love to know your predictions. What are the next steps for Jack? Like, what predictions do you have? Like, what does he have to do? Who does he have to take on? What other crazy, super powerful hearts does he need to eat? You know, stuff like that. I would love to know your predictions on it. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.